Hi, I'm Shom. Welcome to my channel. Today I have another Project Pan update video for you all. This will be for the month of June. I will go through usage, general thoughts on how I've been incorporating these products. As always, the purpose and reason why I do Project Pan is to appreciate the things that I have a little bit more, but also it kind of gives me some realistic perspective in terms of how frequently makeup products will be used up, which in return tends to kind of curb some of my spending habits. As a general goal, I just want to try to be a more conscious consumer, trying not to buy and over purchase makeup products that I myself don't actually reach too much for. So not only is this a way for me to give love and attention to what I have, but it's also kind of a realistic take and almost research in what I actually enjoy using in my day-to-day or overall makeup routine, so that I can take note and be more mindful in the future whenever I shop for new items, and let new products into my inventory. So yeah, let's jump right into it. In terms of format, I did see, I follow Vivian Nguyen on YouTube, and she does, I think, a fun way of ordering her products that she goes through on a monthly basis from least to most progress. So I think I'm going to try that this month too. So starting with kind of the least amount of products. If you've been following this series, then you'll know it's probably no surprise that it's this MAC lip combination of the red lip pencil and then also the Russian red lipstick. Now, the great thing I think about what happened this past month was that I finally kind of found a way to use this red lipstick in a more wearable scenario. I know it's not in trend right now to do that whole like ombre effect of, lighter to dark, darker to light on the lips, or that just bitten look that used to be really popular in Asian makeup, K-beauty specifically. But who cares, right? Trends come and go. So if you like the look, then you should do whatever you want. And if it makes you feel better about it or more confident, then why not, right? So I did what I ended up doing. So for the month of June, I only reached for the lip pencil twice, which I think from the progress videos, from the progress clips, you'll kind of notice that. I didn't really sharpen it, and the length is pretty much the same. And then in terms of the Russian red, I used it a total of 5 times in the past month, and it was because of the fact that I started to line my lips with a nude, cool lip liner. And by doing that, blending it with the red lipstick, it actually made it, to me, I felt like it looked way more wearable than, say, a full-on red lip look. And because of that, I tried to reach for it more, and I was able to kind of incorporate it on a day-to-day. That being said, since I started doing that, I have panned that nude lip liner, so I need to figure out what else in my inventory I can kind of mix and match that shade with the red so that it can kind of neutralize, or effectively I'm creating a different lip color, right? I'm trying not to just wear a red lipstick. I'm trying to mix the red with something cooler so that it looks more subdued. But I haven't quite found something else to replace it, and I don't want to go out and just repurchase that lip liner right now, because that's the whole point of what I'm trying to do. Is like, I'm not going to just fix the problem or find a solution by throwing money at it, right? Like, that's not the whole reason why I want to do Project Pan. And if I'm spending money to use and pan other products, it kind of goes against the whole purpose of this experiment and changing my relationship to makeup. So yeah, that, I think, like, this might actually, these two combinations, in reality, they've been working better separately and with other lip products in my inventory. So hopefully I will be able to see some notable progress by the end of the year, but I think with these two products, it's probably going to continue on, and you will probably see this next year too, until I decide to roll it out and bring something else in, which is crazy, right? Like, a lipstick and a lip pencil taking more than a year to use up, I did not ever think that would be the reality. Okay, and then the next product that I have is the Trended Up Primer. And for the month of June, I used it a total of 10 times. I think in the clips, you can't really notice how much product has been used so far, but if I look at it visually and think about, like, how it used to look, I feel like there has been progress. That being said, it's also something that, like, even though I used 10 times, which is quite a bit, I still feel like it's going to take me a little bit of time to use up fully. I haven't decided if, I think for this Project Pan, or this series, I want to use it up to its entirety, because I know some people, they'll hit pan, but maybe they'll still have product left, and then they'll roll something out and roll something in, something else in. But because primer is not something I gravitate towards or have a trouble with spending, like, hoarding too many of these with, I just don't have many primers. So I think with this, it's more of an exercise of using something up fully, trying to find ways to incorporate it into my routine, and then also for my own awareness, understanding how long it actually takes to use something up like this, because in the future then I can think about, okay, if I purchase a primer, realistically it might take 1 to 2 years to use, and is that something I want to commit to? And if so, then I must really love this product for me to do that. So, not much to report at this time. Still sticking with it. I don't think I'm gonna ever hit kind of hate pan territory. It's kind of just like there in my routine, which in general is how I feel about primer. It's just there and an extra step. So, yeah. The next product I have is the Naming Cream Blush in the shade Inflamed. I really like this cream blush. It is quite pigmented, but I feel like you can kind of see some of the progress that I've made so far. In June, I reached for this a total of 14 times, which is quite a lot. I basically used it whenever I applied blush, which is pretty much it's almost half of the month. And the other times that I didn't apply it, I kind of reached for something else or just didn't wear makeup that day. What I will say about this, though, is I think with red blushes, even though the idea of it is supposed to make it seem like you're naturally flushed, I do feel like this shade of red on me, and I have it on today, makes it feel like, to me, I always find it kind of tricky to match other shades with this red blush, and I have to be pretty careful with what or lip color I go with, because sometimes it can conflict. And if I go with something that's too red or too bright, then it kind of goes into that clown makeup territory. So I'm still trying to, and I'm just not like, I'm not a color theory expert, which I really should get better about, like visually being able to identify the different colors. But yeah, I'm still trying to make this blush a little bit more wearable when I do a more full face of makeup, and I haven't quite figured that out yet. I know some people say like, oh, you can apply the same blush color onto your lips. Then when I applied it to my lips, it kind of had a more reddish orange tone shade, and so then it looked slightly different from what it looks like on my cheeks versus what it looked like on my lips. So I'm still trying to figure that out. If any of you have, I don't know, if you've used red blush, you're a fan of red blush, give me some tips. Like, how can I make this feel more wearable? And if the answer is I can't, then well, what kind of looks should this really go with? Next product up is the Becca highlighter in Moonstone. Visually, I feel like there's been some progress. One thing that I started doing was, besides just applying highlighter more often, and I used this a total of 10 times last month, what I also started to do, because it is now summer, is if I'm wearing like a sleeveless top or a tank top and I'm going out, I'll start to dust the highlighter on the high points. So like a little bit on my shoulders, some on the collarbone if I'm wearing a top that exposes my collarbone. And that's just a way for me to find different ways of using up the product, because realistically, I don't think the number of people that will have panned a highlighter in their lifetime is already such a small pool of people to pick from. So there's I just know I'm not going to be panning this in the next 3 months, in the next year, right? This is a long haul pan. So just by the nature of how this product is used, so I have to be creative in finding different ways of using this product so that I don't get bored from it. And also, like, it doesn't start to become gross, right? So if I can use it in other ways to make it kind of more fun, then that's what I've been trying to do. From a progress standpoint, I mean, I really love this highlighter. I love how finely milled it is. I love how natural as highlighter can be, it looks on the skin. But visually, I can also kind of tell that this is making some small progress because of the texture that you're starting to see in the clips, right? Like, more of it showing up just from, like, in the past, me having pressed the powder when it shattered. So I know that superficially I'm hitting and using up some of the products in this pan, even though it might not seem like it. The next product I have up is the Armani lipstick, the Lip Shine. I used this, and I am so proud of myself. I used this in June a total of 24 times. I think if I wasn't using the Russian Red from MAC, then I was using this Armani lipstick with that nude lip liner I had. Because I just find this so much easier to apply, and the balmy texture just makes it's just so much easier for me to work with. But I think visually too, because I know how much I've used so far and how much is actually left, I'm so motivated to get as much of this used up as possible, because I feel like the end is so near. Like, even though visually there's so much of it left, it's for some reason in my mind, this seems like 2 months of product left. It's probably not the case, but I really enjoyed this in the month of June for some reason. I found it super easy to use, super wearable. I also used it a lot of the times when I was going out, so it was just always in my handbag for me to reapply. I don't know. I'm happy. I'm happy I kind of discovered this. But I think I'm even happier that I've come to a point where, like, I've figured out how to work it into my routine so that using it has just become second nature for me. I want to try to use it, though. Finish it before the change of season. So if I can pan this by the end of summer, I think I would be so happy. All right. The next product up I have is the Maybelline Color Tattoo in Front Runner. I am excited because not only have I reached for this a total of 13 times in the past month, visually I can see the progress in the actual container, and I have noticed a bigger dip in the amount of product that's left in the jar. I don't think I would repurchase something like this, though. Every time I see someone try to, like, market or influence that these type of cream jar shadows can work as a primer, just know that if you have oily eyelids like me, then that's probably a lie. Like, it's not gonna work for you. This does not work for me in any way. I also don't like the way it looks on my eyelids. I feel like I don't know, personally, I just prefer to have this type of shimmer in the form of an eyeshadow. I don't like, and this is the beauty of Project Pan, right? Is that I've realized I don't like to get my fingers dirty if I don't have to. The annoying part about having to go into this jar and scoop out or, like, get product out is that potentially either it gets into the crevices of, like, the underside of my nails, or that it, like, gets on my fingertips and I'm using so much pressure to put it on the eyelid because a brush will not pick it up at this point, right? So I just, like, if you're like me and you don't like to get your fingers dirty, you don't want to have to work too hard to, like, blend out the color on your lid, then avoid this. But if you're a fan of it, you know, what works for you works for you, and we're all different, and this is kind of why, you know, one person's opinion and one person's experience you can take with a grain of salt. But yeah, I will not be repurchasing this anytime soon. Ever. I have too much. Yeah, I have other things. Like, I have other things that I need to work through. All right. We are almost at the end. The next eye product that I have is the Surratt Kira lid lacquer. I used this a total of 3 times in the last month, which was kind of a drop in usage compared to previous months. I think it was primarily because I don't know, I was trying to focus on the Maybelline a little bit more because I realized all of my attention was going here. But also, I think the types of makeup looks I was doing and the activities that I had going on in the past month, I just didn't really reach for it as much, and I kind of forgot about it. I will say, though, progress is steady. You can kind of see the little fingerprint dip in the pan. I like this. I still like this product a lot. Would I repurchase it, though? I'm kind of leaning toward no. For the same exact reason that I just gave on the Maybelline product, meaning, like, I don't like using my fingers too much for like cream product application. But I will say this product is a lot easier and less fussy to work with. It's not as hard as a, like, it's more of a creamy balm than, say, like the Maybelline is like a more putty texture. Like it's more similar to the MAC paint pots. And because that was also kind of the dupe that a lot of people felt that it was. Yeah. Moving on, I have the Makeup Forever HD Concealer. In the last month, I used this a total of, just trying to find the number here, 11 times. And that's why you will see in the progress clips why the weight has gone down significantly. There is still no windowing, no end in sight. I'm not really sure where in this tube I currently am, but that's kind of the fun of it, right? Like, I mentally know that the more I use it, the more weight is going to be coming off. So I've just been trying to be more conscious about the fact that I have a concealer to use. And if I'm doing a quick, like, work makeup or just running errands makeup, then I'm more likely to try to reach for this than I am, say, like a foundation or a full beat. So yeah, I think that mindset shift has allowed me to pay more attention to this. But now that we are in summer, it's starting to be a little bit hard to mix and match my current skin tone because I am a little bit more tan than usual. So it does come off as more of a brightening eye effect than, say, a true match to my color right now. All right, and then the last product that I have, which surprisingly I just brought in last month to give updates, is the Urban Decay eyeshadow tease. You can see in the clips that the pan has gotten a lot bigger, and I used this a total of 11 times also this past month. It's one of those things too, like instead of the Kira, I think I was just focusing more on this tease shadow and my other powder shadows instead, which is why you see and notice like the pan getting larger in the clips. So yeah, that is pretty much everything. That is everything for the month of June. Overall, a lot of exciting updates, but no empties, and I think it might continue that way for at least the next month or two. I'm not sure if I should film another progress video update. Let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that even without empties. And yeah, if you, like I said before, if you are doing Project Pan, you enjoy these type of videos, please like, subscribe, or comment down below. Would love to hear what your thoughts are on Project Pan, if you have any tips and tricks, as always, and how are you doing in general. All right, thank you. See you next time.